welcome to another episode of a Drunk Math Podcast. Jared here for the first time, coming to you from Alhambra, California. It's been a windy day today, not quite as windy as a few weeks ago. Hopefully the fires stay at bay. However, we were enjoying beautiful blue skies and that golden sunshine all along the way today. With me is one of my real good buddies, Josh Adams, the savior of the sixth string, the prince of the keys, creator of light and lighting accessories. He's a lover, not much of a fighter, and ultimately he's a happy cat daddy of two, one of which just happens to be the sister of my little shittin' Stella. Josh, welcome.
Thank you for the huge upsell.
It's the least I could do.
You know.
How you doing today, Josh?
I'm good, man. We were working on an Orange Mayfield song late last night.
Indeed.
I pretty much slept all day, and it's a late night for us. We usually start earlier, but...
Yeah, it's a Sunday, you know.
Yeah.
Russ's Friday.
Russ's Friday, exactly.
Well, there's a handful of things I want to get into today. You're a musician. You and I play in, you joined the Captain's Son a few years after we had moved out here to California from Springfield, Missouri, that is. And now Captain's Son is on a bit of a hiatus, and we are now in two different bands, Orange Mayfield and Desert Sparrow. So you are my partner in crime, if you will, when it comes to the musical lifestyles. And hell, you've actually graced the stage with Corey and I for a Drunk Math show when we played Long Beach a couple years ago.
Yes.
How was that?
Well, even though you sold me as the savior of six strings, I don't think I'm that great, but I do have enough confidence to get up and jam with some homies in front of a bunch of random drunk people. So, yeah.
With the songs you have no idea how to play?
That was the best part about it, honestly, because, what was that one solo? It was the Freebird solo.
Oh, man. Yeah, I think we broke our record. So this particular concert, this show that we did in Long Beach, it's actually on YouTube, just the audio. No one filmed it, but we recorded it. So y'all can get on YouTube and check out Drunk Math live at the Pike Bar in Long Beach, California. You'll get to hear that 22 or 3 minute long version of Freebird if you choose.
Was it that long?
It was a long one. Because you broke a string. I remember you broke a string like halfway through the solo towards the end, and I just kept looking at you like, you got to keep playing. I'm sorry, but you just got to keep playing.
I had to have my Jazz Master then, because if I had the Strat, that thing would have went out of tune.
So you're a musician. You also are in film production. And so I'm going to cover pretty much two of those topics today. And ultimately, let's get started with the guitar. What led you to picking the guitar up, man? Series of events, one specific event?
Funny enough, when I was 6 years old, I wanted to play drums for some reason.
Nice.
Oh, luckily the drums are too loud for my parents. But my dad played guitar, and he and I we shared a lot of music together. And he was really big into Nirvana. In fact, my first memory that I can remember was 1994. I was 4 years old, and my dad was watching TV, and I was just. They were talking about Nirvana, and back then I was like, that song Polly, Yeah. As a kid, I was like, Polly wants a cracker,
Right.
And then my dad was like, Josh, shut up. This is important. Kurt Cobain died.
Oh, I do remember my mom being very visibly distraught when she heard the news that, as well.
So you remember that too? So that's got to be one of your earliest memories too.
It's one of them. I think the earliest memory I have. It's also music related in that sense, but my mom says I was probably about 3 at the time, so this would have been a year prior, 93. And I was stealing a cassette tape out of her Oldsmobile car that she had. And I think it's a Beach Boys cassette tape that I was taking.
Beach Boys?
Yeah, taken out of it. So that's my earliest memory.
So you're like 3 or 4 or something?
I was like 3, yeah. It's a vivid one, man. It lives with me. Anyways.
So eventually, my dad taught me my first chord, which is D. Funny enough, on guitar, the first 3 notes are D-A-D. What does that spell?
Dad.
So anyway, yeah, he taught me a couple things, and then, I got into punk rock and wanted to play guitar like Tom DeLonge or Kurt Cobain or whatever, and I started taking lessons when I was like 12 or 13.
Okay, so you weren't fully self-taught. You actually took lessons.
Well, yeah, I took like I think like 2 or 3 years of lessons.
Is that when you learned theory?
Yeah. I mean, that's when I said, I don't really. I mean, like,
or just got the grasp of it.
Yeah. That's pretty much where it all started. And my guitar teacher got to the point where he was like, I can't really teach it much. You kind of already on your own journey. So funny enough, I was in my hometown of Augusta, Georgia last year, and I ran into him and shared a couple beers, and I watched him perform a show. It was great catching up.
Nice.
Jeff Johnson, if you're listening, thank you for everything you taught me.
Oh, yeah, man. And so from there, I guess once Jeff sent you on your way, was it like finding a band, or what happened, at that point?
It didn't take long after I started playing guitar to eventually decide I'm going to be in a band. We had no idea what we were doing. In fact, like...
you said you were teenage, like high school?
Yeah, I was probably 15 when I joined that first band. And then, like a year or 2 later, there was a more popular band that I became friends with, and I ended up joining them. But they were a little bit more on like the heavier side, which I was never that big of a fan of. But I mean, that was just what was popular back then. It was like
I got
the MySpace days.
Man, I got deep into the, I guess, screamo metal phase, if you will,
And funny enough, this is funny. While I was pretty good at, I remember like all the high schoolers like, oh, Josh is great at guitar. I was an idiot, dude. I had no like,
compared.
What finally made me, so the thing that I sucked at was rhythm. Like, I learned, like I said, Nirvana and Blink-182 and NoFX, all these like punk bands that are all downstrokes on guitar. So I never, when that MySpace era came in like 05 to 07, whatever, everybody was about the like breakdown rhythms,
Right,
they
that syncopation, if you will.
And I had no idea how to alternate pick. You know what taught me?
What's that?
Fucking Guitar Hero.
Fuck yes.
It taught me, like, I always played on expert, and but like those, there's those certain songs. I think one of them was called 6 by Lamb of God, that had crazy tremolo picking in it or whatever, like palm muting, and that literally taught me how to.
I always thought Guitar Hero was going to teach me how to play guitar, but that didn't work out, actually.
I mean, like, so I had, like, a little bit of an idea how to play guitar, which made my left hand pretty strong. Mm-hmm. But where I was weak on guitar was my right hand, which is the rhythm side of it, and it, it kind of, like, is a game, and it, like, forces you to learn how to do this so you can get the good score. So I learned how to play, I guess, hardcore, screamo, breakdowns, and I mean, honestly, it's so stupid. Like a video game taught me how. It didn't teach me how to play, but it definitely.
It's pretty cool that it at least allowed you to work on that. I mean, heck, what was it? Rock Band. When Rock Band came out and they had the whole drum set and everything. Yeah. When I'd first moved out of my parents' house after high school, and was living with my buddy during my first year of college. We got Rock Band, and it was a great way for me to at least keep rhythm going, since I was in this tiny little apartment, couldn't even dream of having a actual drum set in there.
And because you're playing a video game, it's like kind of like
Which is hilarious. Like I had to play on expert on that because it was close enough to an actual drum beat. Like if you played on easy,
it's just
or whatever, dude, you're not I was terrible, like just ridiculously terrible. Like a beat, like the easy mode.
Yeah, same. The easy mode was never easy for me. I had to go straight to expert.
Right. So when was about what age were you that you had your first live show with a band?
Ooh. I think, funny enough, the first time I ever performed on stage playing guitar, I guess I was like 14 or 15 at the time.
Okay.
This is all the same time I joined that band, but we hadn't performed or anything out in front of anyone. So my girlfriend at the time, my high school sweetheart, she really liked this band. They were playing at the Wild Wings Cafe. So we went and saw them, and I was like, yeah, I'll play guitar. And then we decided to go see them another night in a different city, not too far away from where we were, and the band was like, you want to come up on stage and play with us? And I was like, sure. Nervous as hell, bro.
And not knowing what, like a single, like, did you know any of their...
Well, the thing is like, I saw their set before, and, I learned every song. I'm just kidding.
That is so drunk math. Well, I saw them play, so it's like I basically knew it.
And, you're playing at this place called Wild Wings. I don't know if that's around the whole country or whatever, but it's your cover band fair. So they were playing a bunch of covers, and they did Basket Case by Green Day.
Okay.
And I was like, I can play that. I'll come up and play with you. And sure enough, I got up there playing this weird guitar that wasn't mine. And, I was nervous. But, that was my first... Yeah, wow, it was crazy. Good job. I'm pretty sure they had the amp turned off, though. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure this is before Guitar Rhythm, and that's just...
Right, yeah. I was gonna say, that's the old Sid Vicious approach, right? Yeah. just unplug them.
Yeah, I was nervous that time, and then, those other bands that I was in, like the high school bands I was in, we started finally playing out in our local venue. Sector 7G was what it was called. It was an all-ages venue. It used to be an old laundromat. It was seriously just like a long hallway. But we would, not my band, everybody had, my band would be the band that everybody wouldn't go and get a drink somewhere else or something. Like, oh, this band's playing.
You're the closing band to clear the bar out.
Exactly, dude. Yeah.
Again, very drunk mathy.
A little bit, yeah. It's like I was born for this or something. But
exactly. I think we're hiring soon, so I'll get you in touch with Corey.
It better pay well.
It doesn't pay a damn thing yet. This podcast is going worldwide. Let me tell you. So, what was your because you moved out to California, what year was it?
2018. January 2018.
Were you still in a band in
no,
Georgia at that time? No.
So, honestly, there was a whole... So that second band I joined that was more popular than my first band, we all ended up becoming best friends. I still talk to them almost daily, funny enough. Maybe not daily, but... we talk all the time, but
That's good, man.
Well, yeah, but the thing is like that one band, it was called Agnes to begin with. And it was like that metalcore, emo kind of stuff. We all stuck together for like 10 years and formed different projects, and they all took different forms. So it was Agnes, and then we started playing more traditional hardcore punk that was more kind of like Comeback Kid or something like that. Mm-hmm. And that band was called Shark Fight. It was a weird era.
Dope.
But, so, that band eventually broke up, and, we all kind of did our separate things for like a year or whatever, and then came back together and formed a band called Dead and Sons, which was it's kind of like, you remember that almost like grunge revival that was happening back in like 2015, 20, or maybe before then, even like 2012 era.
Maybe, yeah.
It was like it was like a mix between like the emo that we all grew up playing and the 90s grunge that we all grew up listening to. And that band actually did pretty well. We went through some changes, and you know, people have their own lives, and people left, and eventually I had to sing for the band, which isn't that great.
Was that your first time singing?
Yeah, like fronting a band. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and it was fun. I mean, people were okay with it, I guess. I mean, they came out to the shows and were happy with it. So, but that band disbanded because I did a bunch of mushrooms and decided I wanted to change the world, and went to college and got a degree in journalism.
Well, that's not very rock and roll of you.
No. Well, here I am.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the college did not pan out.
Yeah. So, like honestly though, another big reason the band broke up is because we had recruited this guitar player, and I love him to death. He's like, he's great, but like he wanted to take the band in a completely different direction than I was trying to do. I was trying to do more. Honestly, kind of like the band Cursive or stuff like that. And
nice, yeah.
And he wanted to go more like stoner metal. Like he wanted to make the band heavier. I wanted to make it lighter. So I was just like, screw it, and
go your different ways.
So, yeah, if you will. So some years passed by, and I did my college thing, and we all kept in touch. It was never any bad blood or anything like that, but. Some time passed, and a few of us got back together and decided to start a new project. And it was more of like indie, kind of close to what we play out here, Okay. But then, I kind of moved to Los Angeles on a whim. I wasn't even sure if I was gonna like stay out here, but I found my way out here, so I stayed. Nice,
man. Nice. So. Of the bands that you've just mentioned, in Georgia, are any music online?
Yeah. You could the first ones, no, but you might actually be able to find Agnes online somewhere. I think you could find some of that stuff on YouTube.
How do you spell Agnes?
Agnes. Okay. I mean, it's a name, so like
fair.
You'd have to type
ES
in
or
Agnes,
US, right?
Agnes, Augusta, Georgia on YouTube and find some.
Do some deep searching. Yeah,
some really embarrassing videos of Josh figuring out how stage presence happens. But
those cringy early videos, right?
Well, yeah. Well, so there's a band I was in called Lost Boy.
Okay, they've got music out.
Yeah, there should be some stuff on Spotify with them. Dead End Sun should have a couple things up on Spotify as well, and Bandcamp.
Dead End Sons.
Yeah, it's like Dead End Street.
Gotcha.
And Son, the opposite of daughter.
I'm used to the word son myself, actually.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, it's weird that you also joined another band that had the word son in it.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of, I moved out to LA and found out my old high school friend, Paige Bird.
Which, that is hilarious in itself because Paige grew up in Southwest Missouri, mainly, I think he was born, I don't remember if he was born in Georgia and then moved there shortly when he was a kid, or if his mom was already in Missouri or not, but grew up most of the time in Missouri and would go back and forth to Georgia. And I met him in high school as well, and I think shortly before he met you. I remember he left for a while, and he was going to school in Georgia.
Yeah.
And that's when y'all met.
And we were kind of like, I don't know. We didn't really hang out much back then. enough, but
I mean, same. It was the same for us. We both had different friend groups, but the music attracted us to each other.
Yeah. But then
that's how Paige eventually hit me up because he came back from Georgia. I think maybe like the second time, and he was basically just like, "Yo, you still playing drums? And you still got a drum set?" I'm like,
isn't it crazy to think that like, literally, before we even met and became friends, like I probably was around Paige, even just at an event or like and then like a week later he's talking to you. That's insane, dude.
I know. And then what is it like? It's like it would be 9 years later is when we meet because I think you joined the band.
Yeah.
It was 2019.
Well, yeah. So
when you joined Captain Sun, and Captain Sun started in 2010. So.
About that though, that was so crazy because like I moved out here, like I said, for career reasons, and a musician's always got that fucking itch. Mm-hmm. I want to play. I want to be with people making music together, playing shows in the studio. Just I have it in me, and I cannot stop it. I don't care if I make money. I just want to make music.
Right.
But. Yeah, after I was like living in LA for like maybe 4 months, and then I saw Captain Sun posted about something, and they're playing in like they're playing the brewery right down the road, and I'm like, wait, Paige is out in California? You can't see me right now, but I'm doing like the Dave Chappelle scratching thing. But I was like, yo, dude, can y'all need some guitar playing? Like,
can I play?
And eventually,
yeah, I just said that went back and forth, wasn't it? Because like you were like asking to jam.
I think
we were busy.
Y'all were busy, and then I was busy.
Yeah, Paige started hitting you up, and you're like, "Oh, I'm working this set, or whatever." Yeah.
But then we got together, and it was like magic. Honestly,
was.
I mean, like, because y'all were a lot like how like the guys I was just talking about, the ones that I keep in touch with still. Like y'all play like different style of music, but like
right
the 3 or 4 year journey that we went on with all that, like
right, because you joined
2019.
Yeah, it was like end of summer 2019. I think your first show was something like September, I think maybe.
Yeah,
with us, and by March, the world was locked down.
Yeah, so things were weird.
Had a good pandemic, if you will, when it came to getting together musically. But however, it did.
Dude, we had some great times with that band, dude. We
did, and it did take its toll.
We played the small stage.
The pandemic.
We played the small stage, but we played the Anaheim House of Blues, and
oh right.
I mean, it's like I said, I'm not in it for money or anything like, but it is nice to sit here and think like. I played at a House of Blues.
We played at a House of Blues, man. And I've seen a lot of good acts at that House of Blues. Yeah.
Yeah. But, that band, it's... Like, as you mentioned earlier, we have
the guy that we were opening for is, old singer of Real Big Fish.
That in itself... Dude, he was so cool, too.
Like,
what was his name?
Scott.
Yes.
Yeah, dude, I love Scott, man. Scott, and then G. Scott Barrett, dude. Shout out.
Yes.
G. Scott, if you are listening to this, man, shout out to you. That guy, he got the Captain Sun. We met him, like, he was one of the first persons we met, like, after moving out here. If I remember right, if I'm not getting too confused. I can't remember. I don't know that we met him.
You're looking at me like I have the answers.
I know, you weren't in the band yet. No, I'm looking at you as just in the sense of, like, I'm looking past you right now. I'm trying to look into the past.
Yes.
Regardless.
I have that. I am almost like a mirror.
Right.
Look at me long enough, you see yourself.
Regardless, though, the pandemic did eventually take its toll on the Captain Sun. We all
died of COVID.
Yes, we did. So... Oh, man, you're an asshole.
It wasn't the pandemic that killed the Captain Sun. I mean, Captain Sun, I would say, is still alive, but, we all were, it's personal journeys that we all had to take. Obviously,
Right,
you and
right.
I were kind of on a similar journey, which is why, when the Captain's Son ended, well, I immediately went and because our other band member Will was already he's playing drums in another band, and they needed a fourth guitarist or a second guitarist, and I just tried to join them real quick,
Right.
And at the same time, you had gotten in with Desert Sparrow, and
Longtime friends of the Captain's Son.
Yeah,
Which
you guys
oddly
knew them
enough
for
is
a
great.
while, right?
Exactly. It was nice when they asked me to join.
Yeah. And so, I mean, it was funny because I was like right back again, like a crackhead. Like, hey, dude, you guys need some more guitar?
Dude, I'm itching to play, man. My band's not playing anymore, man.
So it's so funny how that happened too, because like I was like bugging you about it. I was like, dude, you think they need some? And you worked your magic somehow, because now I'm hanging out. We're doing the stuff. Yeah, but it's funny though, because like I joined that band with Will. Orange Mayfield, and then Will moved away.
Right.
And then they needed another drummer. I mean, and it was like none of us even said anything. You just showed up, and we're like, "I'm doing it." Like
pretty much two bands fell in both of our laps.
Or did we fall in their laps?
Or whatever happened. Yeah, we fell in their laps. They fell in our laps. I mean, it depends on how you look at it. But.
Playing in Orange Mayfield, I'm doing what's always kind of been my thing, which is playing guitar and stuff. And in the Captain's Son, I started playing a little bit of keys here and there.
Right.
But in Desert Sparrow, I'm playing a lot of keys. And
that is correct. And honestly, when I first met you, it was just guitar at first. And I forget when along the ride in the Captain's Son journey that you're like, yeah, I can play keys too. So we started utilizing that.
Mm-hmm.
When did you pick up the keys and like learn the keyboard?
Pretty much right after I stopped taking guitar lessons. My mom had a piano. Funny enough, that's the same one.
The one that we're looking at right there, that Yamaha?
Yeah, it's not the exact same one. That was a gift from a neighbor. But, it's the same model and everything. Which
one is that one?
It's a Yamaha. I couldn't tell you the actual model number.
Gotcha.
I mean, I could, but not right now.
We're busy.
It's not.
We're busy.
But I basically found, because I learned a very little bit of theory on guitar, and then I just looked up what the notes that I was playing on the guitar were like on the piano, and I started. It's funny. The first song I learned how to play on piano, and I can't do it now. I don't remember it. It was so long ago, but it was Bohemian Rhapsody, and I learned it by looking at a guitar tab of it, and I would see, oh, it's on these frets, so that means it's on these notes on this.
Nice.
So I would just do that.
You tabbed out piano through guitar.
Yeah.
Not bad.
That was weird. I mean, I kind of...
Hey, there's multiple ways to learn, right?
I can play banjo and harmonica and mandolin a little bit too, but like, it's all the same. It's all language. Once you
learn it,
once you can speak it,
yep.
You can apply it. I mean, I'm by no means an expert at any of these instruments, but like they all speak the same language.
True.
Yeah.
Cool. So we are now at the halfway point, and normally we kind of reserve this for a promotional type segment, and or for you to show something that you have or whatever. Being in both the same bands, I got a pretty good idea of what's coming up. If you want to go ahead and...
Well, Desert Sparrow, we're about to put out at least one track, but we have several loaded in the barrels. And, I'm not quite sure. We haven't decided on a release date for this first run, or, this first song. But I think it should be Probably, if I had to guess, it'd probably be March-ish.
February or March, it depends, yeah.
But you could follow us on Instagram and, on Spotify. I think it's just at Desert Sparrow.
That is, how do you spell Desert Sparrow, Josh? For the people out there.
Well, it's not spelled like dessert. And it is sparrow, singular. There's been people out there who've gotten confused. They thought it was like Desert Sparrows. I'm like, well,
I still think that would still pop up. Dessert Sparrow. It's not Dessert
It's
Sparrow.
not Dessert Sparrow.
Okay, yeah.
So it's DESERT space SPARO. Oh, fuck.
ROW. You fucked up
it's
Sparrow.
Right. It's okay. We can cut that, dude, right?
No, probably not. And for Orange Mayfield right now, we're just...
We're actually... So, I mean, Orange Mayfield definitely has stuff online. Neither of us have contributed to it. And
right, same with Desert Sparrow.
However, both of these projects, you should still go check them out and
check out the past catalog for sure.
See, see what these wonderful songwriters are doing.
Totally.
And
something that we're very, very happy to be a part of.
Yeah, I mean, that's, we just add to what they do, But, Orange Mayfield is, we're in the writing process, but it's kind of weird. You're in that position where you're like, okay, so Orange Mayfield just released something. Do I say, we just released it? Well, I didn't really...
Right.
I wasn't a part of the release
I'm not
at all.
on it.
Like,
I'm in a band now, but I didn't record anything on that release.
But yes,
they do have a new EP out as of earlier this
Subliminal Foundry 3.
Yeah, early last year, I guess at this point, which is weird to say. Still,
we are playing those songs live, which is
we are.
Yes.
And for anyone who is listening that is in the Southern California region, give both bands a follow.
I think Orange Mayfield is just at Orange Mayfield.
Yep.
And that is
OROR. All right. So we've talked about the music. Now let's get into how you actually make money. Because you're a musician.
Well, if you go to my
you don't make money way.
If you go to my Instagram, which I'm not gonna,
and click the
there's a link in bio.
Gosh,
I didn't say that. I said there's a link in the bio.
Okay. So you're just a tease.
So I, as I was saying earlier, I went to school for journalism, and I quickly realized that journalism is kind of like a dying industry. It's not. It's really just becoming entertainment. So I, like halfway through my college career, I was like, I need to start learning some video stuff, some multimedia stuff. I started learning a couple things about the film industry, and I graduated college, and then me and my buddy. We were like, what do we do? We just got this degree, like we can't do anything with it in this town. And then all of a sudden, this reality show just comes and shoots in our town, and they just need basically warm bodies to do a job that anyone could do. And, I kind of quickly fell in love with the way it was kind of liberating, because you make a good amount of money in a small amount of time, and then you're doing something fun and creative, and it's not at all like
and so
it's not like it's not a day job, It's
and what was your first? What was your first?
That first show?
Yeah,
that first show was called Truck Night USA, I believe. I think is the name of it. It's on the History Channel.
Nice.
It was like a
and
I can't remember what the actual name. We called it two different things because there's always like a working title on these projects, and then it gets released as something. So I get it all confused all the time. But it was just like an off-road trucking show, like Baja, like mudding basically.
Nice.
It was
something I would probably
They basically
enjoy.
took over an ATV park and like built a course for these trucks that people built, like, and then they raced them on it. You know?
And what were you doing again?
I was what's called a production assistant, and that's basically your foot in the door into the film industry, and you know, it also goes by PA. You might hear it as PA, but
what really what duties does that entail?
In general, like for PA, it's like everything.
You're the runner.
You're a runner. Like you're going and picking up, you're buying things and bringing it to the set, or you're picking up lunch, or you're
the coffee person.
Yeah, you're getting coffee. You're doing what's called a lockup, which is something I failed at pretty good on this set. Like it was my first set, and
what's a lockup?
So a lockup is it's basically like when you're rolling, you have people in place in a lockup to be like, hey, you can't come in, you can't speak here. You keep it quiet. So it's like and
we got a set going.
You say, hey, we're rolling, and of course, number one, like an ATV park isn't quite the most normal set. So I was, and being, it's kind of the worst position to be in on a lockup because like you're seeing people who are, you know, higher position of you, making more money, and they're definitely more important than you that need to go up there to do something. And like, I got to get up there. And you're like,
no, sir.
Yeah.
You stay right here.
I had this one guy who was like, I gotta run this battery up to this place, and I'm like, go get it. And they're like, what are you fucking doing?
Why did you let someone through?
Dude, what's funny is the AD, the assistant director on that, he
learning all sorts of fun terms. I love this.
Yeah. Well, so we had these trucks, we had ATVs, we had all kinds of stuff to get around the set, and I was driving a couple people in a truck up a hill and I didn't know where to go in this place, and I went up the wrong hill and I got stuck. And the AD had to call up a tow thing, and of course it was a trucking show. We had all that stuff like on deck, but like
you had the trucks.
But I was definitely holding up the shot with that truck. But what's funny,
classic rookie mistake.
Yes, absolutely. But this AD, so usually every year I work. So now, well, I don't PA. That's your entry level, and I've progressed, and I do. Lighting now.
That is your main bread and butter.
That's my bread. Yeah, a long way to get to this.
Fair.
But grip and electric. I do more the electric side. They are, so that AD. So every year I do the I do the Oscars. Vanity Fair after party, red carpet every year. So and recently that AD from that show in Georgia is working the carpet with me every year. So it's kind of like, we joke about me getting the truck stuck.
Do you still have that? Is it still up on YouTube? That one clip that you sent us at one time. You're like, hey, go to this like moment and you'll see me in the back of the shot. Do you know if that's still? If it is,
I could give you screenshots or something.
All right, I was gonna say I'd like to try to get the video because that would probably be really good promo for this episode.
You'd have to look at the like.
All right, I'll do some investigative work.
I didn't watch it. I was working it. Like it was a live event, and I was there. I wasn't watching it.
Well, I was watching it working.
So you were watching it?
Yeah, I was definitely watching it.
Did you catch me at all?
I caught you at one point a few times. Yeah, dude. Like they position, that's why I wanted to find it because it's hilarious. You're just sitting there, you're like off, like you're in the background, and you're just like in this like nice like suit looking thing, and you're just like standing. What do you call it? You said you're just like what are you doing today, Josh? Like, oh, I'm babysitting a light.
Yeah. That's all it was. I mean,
so that's all you had. That was your entire job. That for when you're working the red carpet and the Oscars, like, is you just babysit one light or multiple lights?
So that's actually a really good question because I mean, in the moment of what was happening, of course, that's all I'm doing is babysitting a light.
Yeah.
But no, so like at an event like that, like there's a lot of different companies doing a lot of things in different places. So I was part of this one company, and I had to basically provide power to everything that they were doing. Like, and that means like for video monitors, for printers, for coffee heaters and so
you really undersold what you were doing that day.
Well, I mean that day, so I did that the day before. So
okay.
And that's
all right. Fair enough.
I don't want to, that's
semantics.
That's how we make our money.
Right.
Like we got to do the prep work.
Right.
I mean, no, it is a serious job though, because I mean,
you got to make sure the celebrities are well lit.
Well, no, because electricity can fucking kill you.
Oh, well, that too, of course.
And learning and balancing, and it's rare that those cases happen. I mean, that's why you have qualified people doing the job,
right?
And they get paid.
Plenty of training, I'm sure, goes into that. I'm sure, like you were saying, like it was.
I didn't learn it in school.
Yeah, right.
I learned it on the job, but no, the people who teach you there are definitely things that could hurt and kill people, but it never, because everybody learns it. But yeah, besides providing power, we do actually have to light the celebrities, and that's also something that I learned on the job. But there's a lot of nuance to it. There's so much that goes into it. I can't like go into full detail here, but it's
do your best.
Really? Okay. So when it comes to lighting, you're working with the director of photography, and he wants certain things, and
you gotta know how to do that.
Well, knowing how to provide it is like important, because like you could turn to someone and say, "Hey, can you soften that up?" And they'll be like, "What are you talking about?"
Right.
What that means is like the light is hard, and it's like
creating a hard shadow, if you will.
No, it's just fully power light. It's like full power light hitting a subject.
Okay.
That's not, when you soften it with a diffuser, what it does is it, number one, makes the source bigger, and it also spreads the light. So, it's stuff like that,
Okay, cool.
And
okay, so obviously every shoot that you're on is going to be different. Every, set that you're on is going to be a bit different. But do you have a general idea of what you're getting yourself into with each gig? Or is it like a total, like, crapshoot, like, you have no idea other than, like, I know I'm going to be operating these. What do you know going into a gig? That's
a really good question, because one of my favorite things about working in this industry is how liberating it is, because you're doing something different on each job.
Okay,
you don't have a boss. You don't have a, every job is different. And sometimes like you get a whole for me personally, like in my position, like I get a whole diagram. I get like where I need to run the power, and like what units are going to be placed here, and what's going to be put in front of it, that kind of thing. And
okay.
But a lot of times, dude, no. Sometimes you just you get a call sheet, as we call it, and it's got like a whole itinerary on it. But I'll be honest with you, dude, I look at it and I throw it in the trash, because like
it's just gibberish.
Well, no, it's not that it's gibberish. It's just it's always,
or it's like it's not gonna follow suit.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
It's always something happens. There's always some unpredictability.
It's just in the moment.
Because
in the field of location, right?
To be more specific about like what, it's not just. So I don't work on any big movies. Like I've worked on like one pretty big TV show.
Which was that?
It was The Minx on HBO.
Nice.
I just did one day on it, and it was crazy, because it was like a lot of us, a lot of my position was there, and like it was too many of us, and like I felt like I was like I'm bored. Like I don't know what to do. Like, there's nothing to do, But I was also pretty intimidated by being on such a big set at the time. But more or less, I do a lot of commercials and music videos. I came up doing reality television, but you can look at reality TV and see that they don't invest in lighting.
Right.
But I do a lot of commercials and music videos these days, and commercials are whatever, but like music videos are a lot of fun for me, and they usually run long because they try to get it all done in one day. But
what's your favorite set to be on? Is it like a music video, or would it be?
All right, so there's two different ways that I approach this kind of question. So my favorite, the easiest job, basically the lazy, like this is my favorite because I'm lazy kind of deal.
Okay.
Would be like, okay, so I'm working on a reality show and we rent out this stage and we're doing green screen interviews for a week. So the first day I show up and put the lights up, and these studios usually already have the power kind of run, so I don't have to run power. It's already where I need it to be.
Okay.
So I just, set the interview space up, and and then it's set. Leave it hanging for the next few days, and then, every subject that comes in to do their interview, like I go in and I do certain tweaks, move certain things, change levels and all that, but
for the most part, you're pretty much not doing anything for a few days.
I'm sitting on my ass for 12 hours.
Getting paid
a good amount.
That's that's not too bad.
But that's not.
That's the issue with gig work, right? Is that like
it's
not like you're dedicated like 9 to 5, to where it's not coming every time, like all the time. Like
that's for sure. No.
Like you gotta be able to prove your worth, right?
But my other favorite set. Let me think.
Oh right, yeah.
Oh hell.
Oh, I hear someone getting a little jealous out the door.
What is it? We'll let him in.
All right.
I gotta let my son in here.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, his son being one of those cats I was talking about earlier.
You miss Daddy?
Hi, buddy.
Here's my buddy. Yeah. He, look at him. In his majestic black coat. His beautiful yellow-green eyes.
Anyway, so we're talking about...
Sorry, dude.
I get you. I get it. I mean, Corey's honestly, he's got a couple cats he can understand, too. So, anyways, your other favorite set, you were saying, before Hito so politely interrupted us.
Well, it's not a specific set and location. It's like so I guess what I'm trying to get at is like that was like my lazy man's like, okay, easy money, but then I also do I like when we have to be creative a lot, and that's why I like the music videos, because you're playing with colors, you're playing with how it actually looks, because
kind of like the artist's vision, if you will.
With those interviews, it's just like plain lighting. It takes skill, but it's just like set it, forget it. There's not a lot of thought that goes into it.
Mm-hmm.
But
when you're on like a music video set, you're like.
Well, it depends on what the music, like what the content is that we're shooting, but like.
What's your favorite music video set you've done, or music video you've done, I guess, if you will, worked on?
I think I would say that a Courtney Barnett music video is one of my favorites.
Sick.
Yeah. Because we were doing a lot of, like,
where was that at? Where was it shot at?
Oh God, I think it was up in like Sherman Oaks, like up in the hills in Sherman Oaks, or like
outside or like inside, or
it was a little bit of both.
Multiple
locations. It was a house,
obviously.
And I actually shot there before. Like I shot a movie there once with Josh Simpson, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's a buddy of ours.
Another Joshua that's in our lives.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, so we shot it there in a couple days, and it was I just like the content, like the music video itself. I like the song. I like I don't know. Well, actually, you know what?
Which one was it?
You know what? It's called write a list of things. I can't remember the full. It's a long title.
Okay,
but
I'm sure people out there are smart enough.
Courtney
to figure
Barnett,
that
write a list
of things and etc. and so forth.
Actually, but I take it back.
Well, Drunk Math will cover it at our next show.
The other favorite one I had was, and actually I think I sent this to you, and you were like, "Whoa, that's the coolest laundromat ever."
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
So
what was that?
That was Spencer Sutherland, and the song is called Chicken Little.
Okay.
And
yeah, I do remember like that. Yeah, check that one out.
Yeah.
So yeah, you helped with that production set.
Yeah, that was actually really cool too. That's one of the ones that like I like the song. You know, at the time he was kind of up and coming, like not, but he's pretty popular now. He just released a new record, and I don't know. It's one of the artists that like I don't know. I like working with him a lot because I've done a couple of his videos.
So, kind of on along this same note that we're on, what's the best gig you've worked? Do you have like a just gig that just kind of just defeats every other gig in the sense of like this? If I could relive this gig again forever, it'd be amazing. Do you have one of those?
Kind of, but it's only because of the amount of money I made in that day.
All right, fair enough.
And the purpose,
all right, well,
the purpose of it.
All right, describe to us this favorite.
Okay, so I was hired to work for 10 hours to make X amount of money, and it was a good sum, and the talent was late, which extended the day by 2 hours, so I got 2 hours of overtime.
Okay. Who was the talent?
Ozzy Osbourne.
Did he say why he was late?
Well, he's old as fuck, dude. He's man, there's
different types of drugs these days. It's keeping him late still.
What's also cool though is like I'm a big fucking nerd and I play PlayStation, and it was like a PlayStation virtual reality commercial. You could find that commercial on YouTube. Just look up Ozzy Osbourne PSVR or PS5 VR2 whatever.
Whatever that thing's called.
Yeah, you'll find it.
Yeah, Ozzy Osbourne PlayStation commercial. Yeah. I'm sure that's easy enough to Google.
Yeah.
So where do you currently see the future of film production for a guy like you or people like you? You know.
Well, like I said, I don't work on the big stuff. However, like when the big stuff isn't happening, the people who work on the big stuff are working on the small stuff that I work on, which I eventually want to get to where I'm working on the big stuff too. But I think it's in a period of transition right now because it's, we just had the pandemic and we just had the streaming wars, as we like to call it, like all these companies doing streaming.
I saw that South Park.
Yeah. And it's been pretty rough the past few years, but I think that. Yeah, and another thing that I haven't even mentioned is AI. Everybody's scared of.
Oh, of course, man. I mean that was one of the major things with even like wasn't there in like was it a threat or did there's an actor strike that also happened as well?
Well,
too.
So yeah, the writers and actors strike are basically
together
were they in tandem basically.
Okay, they were okay.
And yeah, there is a lot of
because that was a big thing. Yeah,
there was a lot of language in those contracts about
artificial AI.
Yeah, but we're still in the infancy of AI, and it's gonna be a long.
We are, and for
time.
me personally, I mean, just to touch on this for a half second, just kind of maybe I don't know, get your idea on this, like for a music standpoint.
Oh shit!
AI, well, no, just I just want to I guess say this, like, I think there's a lot of benefit that can come if like you use it as a tool to like.
Actually, that's a good way you put it.
You know, like don't ever rely obviously on it. You know, like keep the human element. You know, keep your own.
That's how it's
inspiration always. You know, attached to it. Don't just be like, oh, that happened. Be done. You know, like. But like, you know, I think AI could be very handy.
That's pretty much how it's being used
inspiration
in film to this day. Well, there's some things that are completely. There's like generative AI, and then I don't know. I'm not techie, but
there's levels.
There's levels of it, but like they're using even generative AI as a tool in filmmaking, like in post. But I've even worked on stuff where we're using, you know, we're shooting stuff that's going to be run through AI. Mm-hmm. You know, it's.
What's that process like? Like,
well, I mean, we just shoot.
Is it like the idea of like the green screen for like you're
essentially
just kind of like you know, you got to envision
this one in particular. We shot
like
on
what's going on.
We shot it on a white which is a cyclorama, which is kind of like a. It's like a. Basically like a curved wall.
Oh yeah. No shadow. Right. Yeah.
Well, it's like a dome. Yeah. Like
yeah. So you don't get the harsh shadow that caused from like hitting corners from the floor of the ceiling.
Yeah, unless you make it, but
right.
It's just like a good blank canvas, you know, to work off of. And,
fair enough.
So yeah, we shot with that, and it was like this like cool. I haven't seen it yet. I did that kind of recently. I want to see it.
What was that called?
I couldn't tell you.
Gotcha.
Couldn't tell you. I don't need.
So if you Google, couldn't tell you, I'm sure you might be able to find something.
Don't go to my IMDb because I don't use it.
That's funny. Yeah.
Everybody, like I've seen people like oh, your IMDb. I'm like, I don't care, dude.
So wait, you've actually got. So, I mean, obviously, well, yeah, you're credited, so you've actually probably got an IMDb.
I do, but like none of them link up because I haven't done maintenance on it. You know, because you have to kind of like.
You have to do personal maintenance.
Well, yeah, because you get the companies, they put in the information, and you got to link it to the same person. But because I've never cared about it, I don't have a real presence on there. So
it's not. I mean, well, maybe it's about time you should start caring about your IMDb profile. Because TikTok's gone, and I'm pretty sure IMDb is going to be the next hot spot, you know? So, if I were you,
I'll do it when I actually type up a resume.
Heck yeah.
Which I haven't used a resume in like 5 years, at least.
Well, while you polish up that resume, I think it's a good time to go ahead and conclude our talk. Josh, this has been a hell of a time, man. Thank you so much for doing this.
Hell yeah.
And hopefully we've given y'all a good insight on the art of film production and a little bit of musical background on Joshua Adams' life. Again, you can find him in the bands Desert Sparrow and Orange Mayfield and The Captain's Son.
And Drunk Math.
And actually, that's right, Drunk Math. If you go to YouTube, it's on there. So,
Corey, come back and let's do another show.
You heard him, Corey. All right. Signing off. This is Jared. We're Drunk Math. And you can too.
This train, it keeps on rolling away. farther and farther, and I do believe it's taking me to my grave. She never calls me anymore. She don't care that I'm lonesome. She don't care that I'm gone. She never calls. I don't know how long it's been since I told her I love her. Can't stand the pain that I'm in. This train is in the hands of the devil. I gave him my only soul. For rock and roll. I sit and listen to the sound. We're pulling into the station. I am eternally bound, and I guess I'll spend the rest of my days waiting. She never calls me anymore. She don't care that I'm lonesome. She don't care that I'm gone. She never calls. I don't know how long it's been since I told her I love her. Can't stand the pain that I'm in.
Now approaching St. Street and Jurd Street.